Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, back in the studio, halfway point of the week. When I heard the announcement yesterday, the first thought that came to mind was, oh my goodness gracious, I cannot wait to hear what Ned has to say about this. Your thoughts on the name change, my man?
Interesting thing about it is it's been in the offing for a long time. All you have to do is look at the schedule back in March when they let it go, and there's a press conference scheduled. That went over everybody's head. But when you saw that scheduled for August the 25th, you had, why they have a press conference there August 25th? That's why. It's a name change that's coming up. So I had an inkling. I'm not at all surprised this has happened. The St. Louis Cardinals do not own the Springfield Cardinals anymore. The working agreement remains in place. In other words, the players are all St. Louis Cardinals prospects. But in terms of the team itself and the running of the team, no, that's owned by Ned Sports. And I think the folks at Diamond probably said, look, we need to have more of a local identification. So while the new name was not presented last night, it will be on October the 6th, according to the general manager, Dan Ryder. And it'll be interesting to see what they choose. I have my suspicions along those lines, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. But no, the move does not surprise me at all.
I want to know what your guesses are. What do you think they're going to call it? What isotopes are taken?
According to Ryder, it's going to be something that's indigenous or at least certainly indicative of this area somewhere along the line. Well, you could call them the Ozarks. You could call them a lot of.
Do you think
names.
it would be weird if they changed their name to the Route 66ers, but then they played in Route 66 Stadium?
Maybe that.
The look on your face told me all I needed to know. All right, well, it's a name. It's okay. The other thing I've always said is as long as they don't change the name of the Kansas City Chiefs, I'll be all right. I see your next question here, and it makes me laugh. I don't think we should instead of saying, when do you think that people in the sports world are going to act like sensible adults? When do you think people across the world are going to act like sensible adults?
The world's going to hell. I just do not. At the rate they're going, this is never going to change. Of course, it's going to change. But we're making reference here to the issuance of a rule that said that college sports can come back and play, or pro sports, I should say. Those who signed in pro sports can come back and play in college. Folks, that's totally inane. What in heaven's name are these clueless judges of whatever court they were appointed to? They need to read. You go back into history, and during the Revolutionary War, there was a renowned activist in politics named Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine wrote a pamphlet that's world-renowned called Common Sense. Well, that's what these judges need to be reading. Common sense. I know the judges are there to interpret the law, but some of these rulings are really liberally interpreted. The allowance of pro athletes, well, anyway, the Big Ten Conference immediately got together and said, nope, not going to happen with us. So did the Southeastern Conference. For a change, they agree on something. However, the Southeastern Conference had a restraining order applied to them yesterday for the two athletes who want to go back to, of all places, LSU. And where is the judge? In Louisiana, of course. This is totally stupid. The other four, the Power Four conferences have all had their officials get together and say, nope, not going to happen. Anybody who signed a pro contract is out. They're done. That's the decision they made, and that's what's going to be abided by. Will it hold up in court? Well, Mike, probably for the next 2 weeks it will, or until this bill passes Congress and the Senate, in which college sports is protected from such action. This is just utterly foolish, and I decry the legalities of the whole thing.
I can't wait to hear when your book's coming out, Common Sense by Ned Reynolds.
No, I can't do that. That's plagiarism.
So, obviously, the Tour Championship concludes and kicks off tomorrow in Atlanta. Early start, so probably around the time we're going to be hooking up.
No, but it'll be a little bit later on in the morning. There are only 30 players.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, so they can kind of sleep in, huh?
Well, for TV time, yes, yeah. That's what they do. The first tee is at 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow in Atlanta, Georgia. 30 of the world's top golfers teeing off, folks. The prize here, the purse, is $40,000 $40 million. The first group to tee off at 10 tomorrow morning will be Tom Kim and Ryan Fox. They'll lead it off. Now, some of the other big names, Rory McIlroy, he's teamed up with Xander Schauffele, and they'll play just before noon. The last twosome to tee off in the field will be Scotty Scheffler and Matt Fitzpatrick, and they will tee off at 1 tomorrow afternoon, all in quest of a $10 million. The winner of this tournament gets $10 million. That's his. That's his alone. But there's also a tremendous amount of money to be divvied up. Some of it already has been, and Scotty Scheffler is the points winner this year. But it all starts tomorrow at 10 a.m.
The St. Louis Cardinals back in St. Louis against the Orioles and not looking good.
Matt Liberatore is a veteran lefty on the Cardinals, and when he is on, he can be a pretty doggone good pitcher. But when he's off, oh my goodness, he was off last night. He allowed 8 runs, I don't know how many hits, a slew of them. Anyway, the final score was the Orioles 13, the Cardinals 1. 13-1. Baltimore beating St. Louis. Fellow by the name of Pete Alonso. Sound familiar? Sure. He's a big star with the New York Mets. And when the Mets let him go in free agency last winter, the New York fans were up in arms. So where does he go? Signs with the Orioles. He has 4 hits, 4 RBIs last night. Jackson Holliday. Sound familiar? Sure. He's the $8 million signee son of Matt Holliday, the Cardinals star. And he had 3 hits last night. 13-1, Baltimore defeats St. Louis. Yeah, the score's lopsided, but it's 1 loss. Trouble is, it's 1 loss down the stretch, and the Cardinals cannot afford that. They did get some help. The teams they're chasing in the wild card also lost, but Cardinals are still 5 games behind and missed a chance to gain ground.
Going to be teetering on that edge. On the other side of the state, my Royals still keep the streak alive.
9 straight. Kansas City Royals have won 9 straight, beat the Toronto Blue Jays 5-3 at Rogers Center in Toronto last night. Big night for the Kansas City Ball Club. The hits were pretty well scattered throughout the lineup, but the pitching of Seth Lugo was absolutely outstanding. John Rave, the one-time Illinois State University product, had a couple of hits. Isaac Collins had a couple of hits, and the Royals win. The Royals are on a tear, folks, 5-3. Will it do them any good? I'm afraid they're still too far behind to make a serious challenge for a wild card, but hey, they're still winning and setting the stage for some good work off-season if there is to be a next season. Now, the Springfield Cardinals, the newly renamed or about to be renamed Springfield Cardinals, beat San Antonio last night 8-0. Rainiel Rodriguez had 2 home runs, and Liam Doyle pitched 5 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. It's a pretty good team, and the Springfield Cardinals, still the Springfield Cardinals until the end of the season, get a very nice win, and they're going to be in the playoffs, folks, and they will be the Springfield Cardinals when they're in the playoffs.
Hopefully they can win as the Springfield Cardinals. That'd be a great way to go out. Do you think Kenny Walker is going to see any action Friday night in Kansas City?
I would be surprised if he does. This is Kenneth Walker, who the Kansas City Chiefs got from the Seattle Seahawks, and that's who the Chiefs play on Friday night in the final exhibition game, Seattle. But Walker has a bit of a foot injury that he's nursing. I think probably he may get 1 or 2 reps in the ballgame, maybe, but we'll see what happens. The big news is the Chiefs made a trade overnight with the New York Giants, and I find this to be extremely interesting. The Chiefs traded a very, I think a 7th round draft choice for 2028, I believe is when it's going to be, but be that as it may, they get a lineman by the name of Joshua Ezeudu, I think is how he pronounces his name. Joshua Ezeudu. He's 6'4", 310 pounds, played at North Carolina, and he was a 7th round draft choice of the New York Giants several years ago. He has played on and off for the Giants, did not play at all last year because of a calf injury. But why are the Chiefs getting a big offensive lineman like this? I think they have some concerns over what they have. Now, Veach, the general manager, says we're getting him for depth. Okay, that's fine. Offensive line depth. But do they need that depth? Apparently they do, and that has me a bit concerned that maybe some of these others, the Josh Simmons of the world and people like that, are not playing quite to what the Chiefs want. And you have a quarterback in here, Mr. Mahomes, who needs great amounts of protection. Well, apparently the Chiefs feel that Mr. Ezeudu from the New York Giants fits that bill, so he will join Kansas City as soon as today and go through the workouts. He may play some on Friday night.
He probably will. It's going to be interesting, that front five battle, who's going to be where, because Reed and Coach Eck have been just shuffling them around. Running back battle, who's going to be number 2? I think Emmett Johnson definitely has a strong case to be the number 2 back behind Kenny, especially after what he's done this preseason. So we'll see about that. But, as I say, it's preseason. And again, if it might be not so much to protect Mahomes, but to continue to build the run game that I know that they're going to try to do.
They're going to try to do that, and they do have some pretty good runners. Certainly Walker is considered to be their marquee player. But they've got some other people in there, as you just pointed out. Rashard Smith can play well. So let's give them a shot and see what can happen. But, yes, the Chiefs do want to establish a running game.
Ned, don't you go running anywhere today. I'll see you tomorrow.